Hi, welcome back to another video for the cloud series. In this video, we're going to go over incident response planning. It's going to be some things I created as far as the spreadsheet, as far as the response planning. Right now, as organizations grow, we understand that it's important for IT staff to plan ahead and be strategic for cases where incidents happen. They may threaten infrastructure and a business running smoothly. Right at the end of the day, want to make sure that the business is not compromised to continue to make money. Now, with planning for these incidents, it's imperative to consider anything that may put the infrastructure at risk of failure and have an appropriate response to remediate. Let's see here, to remediate the issue rather than working reactionarily. And some enterprises may call it a playbook or regular incident response planning, but this just becomes more important and equally difficult to gauge as infrastructure becomes larger and more intricate, right? For example, an infrastructure engineer may push an update to go through to a live environment that safely passed, of course, through dev and QA environments, but only to find that it causes an edit on a legacy resource. Right. In the worst cases where that resource was a single point of a failure, this could bring down an entire infrastructure. So, and usually incident response planning, and I'll go through it on a few tabs here, but you want to make sure it goes through these stages. You want to have preparation, identification, containment, investigation, eradication, recovery, and follow up as well, right? And you want to make sure so you can plan effectively for this. You got to make sure you have the proper resources and tools and assets available to use in an emergency, right? This includes like prudent documentation, like we have here between the communication or call tree, right? Decision plan, monitoring plan, and decision plans, and also roles and responsibility for individual processes of who has to implement it and take actionable steps for these plans, right? And you want to make sure you just document, for the most part, everything efficient, right? For everything to take place the way that it should. So what I'm going to do is going to define and describe all of these tabs here that I created as far as appropriate incident response planning, proper planning techniques, response techniques, as well as proper template documentation as well. So now that I have it open here, right? So I'm on the threat categorization matrix tab here, and here you can actually see the difference of threat classifications based on the probability of the issue occurring versus the impact it would have on the infrastructure. So the exact specifications here may change from business to business, of course, but although there's four categories here. We have low, we have medium, we have high, then we have priority one high, right? And then if we take a look at the monitoring tab, now this just displays a simple monitoring sheet that outlines the different resources that comprise a wider infrastructure, including the resource description, judgment of risk, right, backup details, and if it's part of a wider infrastructure or standalone infrastructure, right, we have all of those things shown here, right? And actually, let me stay scroll to the right so we can see the remaining data, and we see potential concerns as well, right? So, for example, if we take a look at, let's see, which is it? Could be KV, right? KV01, right? It's an Azure Key Vault, right? So it doesn't have any infrastructure relying on it directly, as noted in column G, right? Yep, as noted in column G, and therefore it's not declared as a risk, although it has not been backed up for a year and a half before the other resources, right? And this can indicate a single point of failure, as a key vault could store business critical data, right? And then let's take a look at the call tree and decision tab, right? Now this just outlines a blank call tree for the most part, right? And with different hierarchical levels, right? With fields for contact details, right? So it just outlines the plan of who to communicate with in case of an incident. It could also potentially double up as an outline of role responsibilities as well. And right here in this example, at least, the director may be the person who can authorize a particular decision, right? I just wanted to showcase that as far as a particular incident response plan. I do have more of an intricate, intensive incident response plan sheet located in my Google Documents that can be accessed from my GitHub, but I actually may place it on this YouTube video in the description tab as well. As far as it may not look exactly like this, but again, it's going to be a bit more extensive and intricate as far as the roles and responsibilities. And it's not going to be an actual template. It's actually going to be an example of a particular incident that happened that happen at an enterprise or business, and pretty much how that response plan will be played out. And I would actually call it not only incident response plan, but a playbook. But nonetheless, that brings us to the end of the video for incident response procedures. Right, we did a few things again. I went over proper planning techniques, response techniques, as well as response template documentation, as well, and the hierarchical call tree that we have here as far as roles and responsibilities that can be included in that as well. But nonetheless, this is definitely fun to go over. I can't wait till the next one where we actually go over cloud solution integration. It's going to be so awesome. But in the meantime, let's see if I don't see you in the next video. Stay curious, stay secure.